Alright, I think we are going to do this intermission for a little bit. Have to point it down at all? Or are we good? We're good. And this can go on keyboard. Some more baby stuff here then. Normal. Hopefully everybody's doing well. What, buddy? What? You help? Or are you done? Oh, Mom's gonna take you up to bed. Oh, alright. Because it's bedtime. It's late. It's late 2 o'clock. Hey. Stealing tea. Alright. I don't think anything crazy is happening around and about. Hopefully everybody had a great 2 weeks. It's been a bit. The other window. Quieter in my head so I can think. What's been going on? I've downloaded Battlefield 6, so be able to check that out hopefully tonight at midnight, maybe. Open beta available 9th through 10th and 14th through the 12th. I will give the open beta a little bit of a try, it seems. And well, obviously there's always crazy stuff going on in the world, but let's see what's actually going on. Make sure I have it open. Auxiliary is not open. It's been a cool game a tank game that I want to try out eventually, but I'm not sure when I'll do that. They're talking about this Islamic dilemma. That's 2 hours ago. Airdrops going into Gaza.
Also, now want to turn our attention to the Middle East. We just want to bring you this breaking news that's just now coming into our newsroom as well. This has to do with aid drops beginning tonight there in Gaza. I want to put this up on your screen as well. This is a live look that we have there in Israel at this point, but this announcement was made today. We do want to continue on here on Live Now from Fox with this post that was put out by the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, now saying here, so put it on your screen, that new steps to improve the humanitarian response in Gaza. Aerial airdrops of aid will resume. The airdrops include 7 pallets of aid there, and the airdrops will continue contain flour,
he's smiling in his sleep.
Canned food, designated humanitarian to enable safe movement of UN convoys delivering food and medicine. Humanitarian pauses may be implemented in populated areas to facilitate aid. And so a power line from Israel to a Gaza desalination plant has been reconnected, boosting daily water output to 20,000 cubic meters. The IDF emphasizes that there is no starvation happening in Gaza. This is a false campaign promoted by Hamas. But again, that's the news that's happening there. Israel says that Gaza aid drops are set to begin tonight, and that humanitarian corridors will be established for United Nations convoys.
What?
This statement, though, that has been released today,
the hospital bill,
has come after international criticism, including by some close allies, that has grown as several hundred Palestinians have been killed in recent weeks while trying to reach aid. I'm going to put up this live vantage point that we have there in Gaza as this hour, as we're waiting for some of these aid drops to begin. If we're able to get any footage of it, we'll certainly bring it to you here on Live Now from Fox. But again, that statement, though, ultimately saying that the military, quote, emphasizes that combat operations have not ceased in Gaza against Hamas, and it is asserts that there is no starvation there
I am
in the
not taking
territory.
meds, so that can be
Military, though,
closed
did
for
not
now.
exactly say when the humanitarian corridors for those UN convoys will open or where. But it also said that the military is prepared to implement humanitarian pauses in densely populated areas. Earlier today, though, the Associated Press did report that Israeli airstrikes and gunshots killed at least 53 people in Gaza overnight. Most of them were shot, they say, while seeking aid, according to Palestinian health officials and the local ambulance service as well. So wanted to bring you this update
Which
here
is
on
run
Live
by
Down
Hamas.
Fox, that news coming out that Israel says that those aid drops are set to begin.
Well, it's like different.
Turrets. Spiders. Russia and Ukraine and part of peace negotiations. What?
President Donald Trump at the White House just moments ago saying that he will soon announce details of a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
We're going to be announcing later on, we're going to have a meeting with Russia. Start off with Russia, and we'll announce a location. I think the location will be a very popular one for a lot of reasons.
Now, those comments come the same
The Vatican.
Trump's self-imposed deadline was set to expire. He told President Putin to come to the table to end the war in Ukraine, prepare to face punishing sanctions. We start things off with CNN's Kristen Holmes from the North Lawn in the White House. Kristen, we are standing by for more details on this meeting that is supposed to be announced later today. But the president had a lot to say about the dynamics at that event. What else did he say?
Yeah, Phil, one thing to note is that we know from the White House and from various U.S. officials there's a lot happening behind the scenes. And in terms of location, President Trump mentioning there, they have been going back and forth with Russia for several days now, trying to find a location that works for both sides. But I think the most fascinating thing, well, there's two parts of this that he said, is he was asked about a plan that we had heard rumblings of, a plan that Russia wanted, that would have Ukraine cede some of its territory to Russia. Of course, as we know, Ukraine has not in any way, they've said that they would not agree to anything in which they ceded territory. He did not say no, when asked about this, if that was in a plan. Instead, he kind of danced around it. He said that this is territory that they've fought over for 3.5 years, that a lot of Russians have died.
Doesn't want the bottom.
A lot of Ukrainians have died. And then he said, we're going to be looking to give some territories back, to swap some territories, and then he called it very complicated. Now, very complicated to say the least. This is incredibly complicated, and there are a lot of sides that have to buy into this. And we do know that the U.S. has been floating a deal that would have these kinds of ceding of territory to Russia to European allies. Part of that being because they want European buy-in on any plan before President Trump sits down with Vladimir Putin. Now, the other thing I thought was interesting in this conversation was that he said that he believes that Vladimir Putin wants peace. Obviously, we heard Trump say that several weeks ago, but the last several weeks since then, he has had nothing but really angry and frustrated comments when he was asked about Vladimir Putin. He was specifically asked again, do you still think he wants peace? And he said he didn't know, that he'd been disappointed by Putin. Now we are back on this Putin wants peace piece of all of this. So this is clearly still developing. We are told, and President Trump said, that he's going to make an announcement about this meeting.
Peace, a peace. It's interchangeable.
For next Friday. But of course, given security concerns, given logistics, it could slide to the week after. President Trump saying he wanted this to happen as soon as possible.
All right, Kristen Holmes for us at the White House. Very fluid situation. Suspect we'll probably be coming back to you at some point in the hour. Let's go now to CNN senior international correspondent Fred Pleitgen in Moscow. Fred, what are you hearing from the Kremlin about this potential meeting?
Well, first of all, the Russians are saying that they are really in the process of preparing this meeting, and have been over the past couple of days. It really seems as though Steve Witkoff's meeting with President Putin here in Moscow on August 6th on Wednesday certainly got a lot of things going here in the Kremlin. That also possibly paired, by the way, with some of that sanctions pressure or potential sanctions pressure that the Russians were feeling from the Trump administration. One of the interesting things that we've seen today here, Phil, is as the Russians were saying that they were preparing for this meeting with President Trump, where again, they also say they're not exactly sure when that meeting is going to be. They are saying that they're aiming for next week. They were also at the beginning saying that a summit venue had been agreed upon, but would be announced at a later date, but then sort of backed off from that as well. At the same time as all of that was going on, Vladimir Putin of Russia was also having some high-stakes calls with some of his main allies and some of those countries that have been put under pressure by the United States. In fact, today he spoke with Xi Jinping of China, the leader of China, where at the end of that conversation, the Russians said that Putin had briefed Xi Jinping on the talks that he had with Steve Witkoff and on the possible summit that he was going to have with President Trump as well. And according to the Russian readout, Xi Jinping said that he was glad that the diplomatic process was now moving forward. Obviously, President Trump had also threatened the Chinese with secondary tariffs if they continue to buy Russian oil, and the Russians, of course, continue the conflict in Ukraine. Also had a conversation, Vladimir Putin, with Narendra Modi of India as well. Of course, the president has been singling out India over the past couple of days for possible higher tariffs if they continue to buy Russian oil as well. The Russians and the Indians also saying that their bilateral relations, if anything, are going to be stronger than they were before.
She's
but of course,
sleeping right
also saying that that diplomatic process between the U.S. and Russia extremely important. So a lot of movement has been going on here in Russia. There certainly seems to be a lot of optimism on the part of the Russians. One thing that we do have to point out, though, and I think this is very important, is that a senior Kremlin aide was asked about the summit and what concessions the Russians were willing to make. And he said that the Russians had fundamentally not changed their stance as far as the Ukraine conflict is concerned. Of course, the Russians have been demanding territories from Ukraine, some of which are held by Russia right now, but
Where are they
some
gonna get
are
that
also held
question?
by the Ukrainians, which means that they would have to get out of those territories. It's unclear whether or not that is something that is in this possible proposal that has been floated, but certainly the Russians are saying that from their perspective, they are going at this exactly the same way that they had before, territorial concessions on the part of the Ukrainians, Ukraine not in NATO, and then also, of course, Ukraine basically all but disarming. It's going to be very interesting to see whether the two and then obviously possibly three sides are going to come to some sort of agreement over that, Phil.
Yeah, no question about it. Fred Plekin for us in Moscow. Thanks so much. Let's turn now to CNN.
Yeah, you see, I think they want them to disarm so that it's an easy invasion the next time around.
Swapping territories. He wasn't specific, but that can't be what Ukrainian officials want to hear as this is all playing out largely without them, it seems.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're in a position where we were a few months ago where the bones of a deal are being hatched without Ukraine essentially in the room. One thing I am hearing over recent hours, and there have been reports in the media suggesting that one of the possible permutations of a deal would involve the Ukrainians ceding key towns in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Getting control of all of that is one of Putin's key war goals in exchange for a ceasefire, for an end to the violence. And I'm told by one European official that that is mostly accurate. Obviously, this is a constant series. What I was told is a flurry of discussions. These plans will continue to change. Ceding territory is a really hard sell for President Zelensky. Obviously, there have been thousands, tens of thousands of Ukrainians who've died trying to fend off the Russian invasion. And particularly in Donetsk, there are two towns the Russians are increasingly close to encircling, but then two others, Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, that they're nowhere near. And so that idea would potentially involve a very high-stakes Ukrainian withdrawal. Swapping territory, President Trump suggested, well, that might potentially just mean the Russians get out of the little bits of northern Ukraine near Kharkiv and Sumy that they've stepped into, calling what they refer to those areas as buffer zones. But look, it's going to be very hard for Zelensky to avoid long-term political damage, if indeed this is the deal he's forced to sign along to. Trump was clear that he feels Zelensky's got all he has needed to push it through Parliament, or whatever needs to be done potentially here. But look, it's one important thing to remember as well, that we've been in this position previously with the Russians where they've had deals signed and they've reneged and regrouped and invaded again. And I think there'll be many Ukrainians deeply concerned here that we may see a repeat of that potentially if a ceasefire comes into place, if territory is given to the Russians by Ukraine voluntarily, Russia simply chooses to move in again. One more more important thing, Trump did suggest that India may have had a role in moving this all forwards. So we'll have to also see exactly what other kinds of diplomacy can put pressure on Moscow. Phil?
Yeah, extremely important points and context as always. Nick Payton Walsh, thanks so much. I want to bring in now Senior Global Affairs Analyst Kim Dozier. Kim, just to take a step back for a minute, this is happening one very, very fast. Really, over the course of the last 48 hours, it seems like things have been going very fast. But the president's comments, the potential and now seemingly likelihood for an actual meeting, the president saying flat out, his instinct is this has a real shot of a deal. What do you think, big picture, right now as we watch this play out?
I think this is a very dangerous time for Ukraine because Russia was about to get some sort of sanctions put on it by Donald Trump, according to his threats. But the phone call and the meeting from Putin came just in time to set up a face-to-face and head off any sort of sanctions. And that also means that Trump is going to be in the room with one of the most convincing and skilled intelligence operators on the planet. And in the past, Putin has been very good at explaining in person his view of things and making it sound very reasonable to someone who doesn't have a history, a background in the area of why Russia's position is right and Ukraine's position is wrong. He's done it before, and now he's likely to lay out the demands as they are set by Russia right now before they'll agree to a ceasefire. New elections in Ukraine, which would get rid of Zelensky's government, disarming the military, abandoning any chance of joining NATO, plus the territorial concessions that were talked about earlier.
The observable universe is the part of the universe that we are able to see and research with telescopes, satellites, and other equipment. It encompasses everything from planets and stars that are nearby to the farthest galaxies that can be identified. This vast area of space contains light and energy that has been traveling for billions of years to reach us. But as immense as the observable universe is, it's worth noting that it has boundaries. And those boundaries aren't made of physical walls or barriers, but of time, distance, and the speed of light. Light, to our current knowledge, is the fastest signal in the universe. It moves at a fantastic velocity of approximately 299,792 kilometers per second, or roughly 186,000 miles per second. Nevertheless, even at this scorching pace, light takes time to cross the unimaginable distances in space. When we gaze upon the moon, we see it as it existed some 1.3 seconds back. When we gaze upon the sun, we see it as it was some 8 minutes back. And when we gaze at far-off galaxies, we see them as they existed billions of years ago. This delay of time makes for a cosmic time machine, enabling us to see back in history simply by looking upwards. The more distant an object is from the Earth, the older is the light we see coming from it. What this implies is that the boundaries of the observable universe are not merely distant in space, but far back in time. Some light we see today was produced just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang, and it's only now finishing up its great journey through space to arrive in our telescopes. But things and events that are so distant that their light hasn't arrived yet are still hidden from us. Those areas are beyond our observable universe, beyond the cosmic horizon. Based on the latest scientific calculations, the size of the observable universe is approximately 93.
Yeah, science.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're
He
out.
got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not.
Something.
What's going on with you guys? Are you working together?
I'm not. I mean, I think that we become friends in a strange way, you know. Yeah, it's like exactly.
I'm begging you, Robert.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, represents a strong family. And he's somebody that, you know, we definitely have our arms around and we want to protect him. Genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Joe Rogan sat in the studio silent. The air felt heavy. His usual energy was gone, replaced with something much deeper, a mix of sadness and disbelief. He had just gone through court files that laid bare what Justin Bieber went through under Diddy's watch, and the weight of it was crushing. This wasn't gossip. These were legal documents, verified and detailed, and they painted a picture of a teenager caught in a system that cared more about control than his well-being. Joe's hands rested on the papers in front of him, but his eyes looked far away, almost as if he was trying to process how something like this could happen right in the open.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So.
First Red was dated when Justin was only 15. It wasn't a flashy contract or a media release. It was a letter written in shaky handwriting. In it, Justin talked about feeling exhausted, wanting to go home, and missing his mom. There was no rebellion in his words, just the quiet desperation of a kid who had been pushed too far. Joe's voice broke when he read it out loud on air. He stopped mid-sentence and put the letter down. Joe remembered the public appearances from those years, the interviews. Years there, the stage smiles, the flashy parties. Everyone thought they were seeing a young star living the dream, but the truth, hidden in those files, told another story. Schedules that kept him away from home for weeks without real breaks. Trips to properties far from any family contact. Rules that cut off his ability to reach out for help. Joe shook his head. This wasn't mentorship. This was control. This was ownership, he said softly.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Keep smiling your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
And then you have them come to audition for you, right?
Actually, with a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
So you were all sitting in a room somewhere.
We in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, "Are you crazy? Get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing."
When all these pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show me the big penis. And people respond to those comments. Or are you sitting there, Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, "Yeah, show your cock," or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, "Look, part of this
prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life."
But Usher is somebody.
Diddy's control. Meetings, late night sessions, mandatory events. For a grown adult, it would have been exhausting. For a kid, it was suffocating. Joe stared at the list.
Trump is the only.
The next snack on. I'll be right back. Put this baby for now. You doing, little boy? I know you got a balloon. Asteroid?
With plenty of and his head goes up. And now then he's mad when he does this. When it's down, he's so happy. But when it's up, call him mad. Mad, fucking bad. Oh, no. Puppy. You can show mom and oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad.
What were you throwing that balloon? But Miss has her eyes open. I see. Alright.
President, and is the first president
Where'd
to
my drink
put
go to?
gamers first.
Oh.
President Trump just signed a new executive order, and it could be the biggest news for gamers who haven't heard yet. Games are being censored, not by Steam though,
That's
but by
right.
the banks that handle the money. This new
Yep.
executive order is the first legal step in stopping this. Recently, if you haven't heard, some games were removed from the Steam store, but
That's
this
right,
wasn't
a
because
lot
of
of
a
them.
bug or a developer's choice. Instead, it happened because a big payment company like MasterCard decided that a few games were a reputational risk. This is a vague rule that lets them pressure a company like Steam to remove any games they don't like. As a result, the banks that handle the money for Steam got involved, creating a chain of pressure.
Well,
that
they create the chain. They don't do it directly. They do it through middlemen so they can avoid being directly accountable. Will he also allow Game Awards to be used again? His final executive order at the end of his term will be legally mandating the allowance of the F word again. You're going to be able to call your friends the F word, and you're going to be able to call anybody the F word.
to the games actually being removed. This is a big deal because it shows that a third-party company that handles the money, not the
Barron
government
told him to
or
do
Steam
this.
itself, is now deciding what we can and can't buy. This kind of power is a form of digital censorship, and is especially concerning since a new rule was recently added to Steam's guidelines that gives them the power to remove content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by our payment processors. The thing is, the Steam situation is just one example of a much bigger problem. It's part of a growing trend of these payment companies censoring or even debanking anything they don't like. Debanking is when banks or payment companies close accounts or refuse to work with people and businesses.
I don't see how this isn't illegal. I mean, having a bank account is necessary in today's day and age. How the fuck can you just take away somebody's bank account?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Like, I mean, really, like, that's like taking away a person's internet or somebody's water or something like that. They do it via terms of service. It should be, having a bank account should be viewed as a utility in the same way that water or internet is a utility.
Yeah.
That's really
Zero upkeep cost. Unfortunately, they charge you like
aren't actually about money. The censorship we're seeing
fees for their statements.
to how banks debank people.
A lot of banks do.
Payment processors are essentially saying, if you don't remove this content, we will.
Yeah.
TikTok time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the planet. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D Wood. With me, we've got Christian Gadfly. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's everybody?
You look like you're in a basement.
I'm in a Mossad prison. They told me that they were going to lock me up until I did a live stream with David Wood. I had to come out and support Israel. It's the only way I could be released. So.
Good, 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 good. Always do what Mossad tells you. That is the life lesson. We've also got Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Doing well, David. Doing very well.
Chris, things are going pretty well with the Islamic dilemma here in the U.S. And on pretty much every other topic that we think of. How are things going over in the UK? Is everyone feeling it there in the UK too?
Oh yes. There's there's a lot of panic about the Islamic dilemma. There's a lot of worry about it. We know that a lot of Muslims are being asked to give responses to the Islamic dilemma by people like Fareed or Jake or our favorite Daniel Akikachu, and they're really struggling. They're really struggling, and it shows. So it's not just like in America things are changing. It's international, and particularly in the UK.
Here's what's amazing to me. Like we can decide, like 7 or 8 months ago, we can decide something. We can decide, hey, we're going to make this the year of the Islamic dilemma. We're going to make everyone know this. There's only a certain amount of that that's actually like under our control, namely what we're doing. Other than that, for it to really take off, other people have to be on board, right? Other people have to start picking up on it, learning it, and sharing it, and so on. Muslims have to start reacting to it. And Muslim Dawah guys will try to avoid anything that they don't want their people to hear. In other words, if you're bringing up an argument, they'll try to avoid it because they don't want to respond to it because that's going to let more people know that there's this problem here. So what you need is Muslims flipping out about something and going to their Dawah guys and demanding responses from their Dawah guys. And then you end up getting debates. Then they end up in a panic mode and then they start attacking each other. And so notice a ton of that is actually not under our control. That's under other people's control. So when you're sitting back here saying, hey, this is going to be the year of the Islamic dilemma, everyone's going to understand it. All the Muslims are going to be freaking out about it. And so it's like everyone else has to.
She might be ready to be pulled out. Maybe not. Maybe I guess too soon. Well, I was trying to print a gray dragon, but that kind of failed. Failed print. So I gotta clean that up at some point, but not gonna do it when the baby's around. And she's been around most of the day, so. And I have a couple prints I need to clean up. But again, I'm not going to do that when the baby's around too much. Too many chemicals and smells. I did get something cool put together. I'll have to pick it up and show and tell in a little bit. And I've been working on the snowman fight. That is now working. Just needs a little bit of paint. Hand painting. Are you trying to talk? Do you want to hold her, kiddo? Are you good?
I don't.
You're okay, I'll pick her up in a second.
If you need me to have one.
No, I can hold her. Just wasn't sure if you wanted to.
Oh, I do.
You want to relax a little.
Like, I love holding the baby. Just the thing I did hold her, because she thinks I'm poor toy. So I think she'll be easy to party.
No watching the TV. Yeah. No screens for you. You want some milk? No milk. Yes, a little bit of milk.
kind of play along. And they are. That's what's amazing, right? Because you say you're going to do it, but it depends on other people to get it going, to help get it going. And you can't,
My whole version makes me want to go to sleep.
that they're actually going to help you get this done, and yet
I am gonna have to take my medicine too before I play video games.
And we can tell this as well because when we look at like the YouTube algorithm and how this is being shared,
Watching her while Mama puts the other one to bed.
see that it gets traction.
Hopefully he goes to sleep soon.
Not just because Christians are watching this, but because people from other faiths as well.
Yeah, Mama's putting brother to bed.
Are watching these videos about the Islamic dilemma, and then they're going to their favorite da'is and they're asking them to make videos in response to it. So in effect, we're doing incredibly well with the algorithm as well. So it's amazing.
Got this cool formula mixer thing.
everyone watching, this is how you do it. Just learn
Pretty
this
awesome.
over a period of many years, because if you go back 20 years, Muslims didn't like debating Muslim topics. They only wanted to debate, is Jesus God? Is the Trinity true? Is the Bible reliable? Did Jesus die on the cross? Did he rise from the dead? They only wanted to debate Christian topics. They didn't want to debate Muslim topics because they didn't want anyone bringing up any problems. And just so everyone knows, back then, if you go back a little before then, it was very common if you set up a debate between a Christian and a Muslim, they would only agree to a Christian topic, and they would say before the debate, if anyone criticizes Muhammad or the Quran at any point in this debate, it's over, and all the Muslims are walking out. So they made sure that no criticism of Islam is going to take place and so on. So like, how do you get through that? How do you get through that? Anyway, we find out over the years with when they say things, when they reject Muhammad's relationship with Aisha and say we're lying, when they say the Quran's been perfectly preserved, and when we respond, they say we're lying and so on. You just have to get the message to Christians and other non-Muslims, and they have to start using it. They have to start using the information with their Muslim friends, thus sending their Muslim friends into panic mode because they've never heard this before. They don't know anything about this. So they have no answers. So now they have to try and find answers. And who do they go to? They go to their Dawah guys. They start pestering their Dawah guys. Then their Dawah guys start posting responses. And then we say, hey, why don't we debate it? And that's how you do it. You couldn't go directly to them to debate it because there's no way they would debate it. They don't want people to know about it. So you have to go about it in an indirect route. What's amazing is they fall for it 100% of the time. And I just laid out the entire system right there, and they will still fall for it 100% of the time. Wow. Hey, I hear Giant DOC there. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up? Hey. You know what? We actually found about 3 or 4 people recently who solved the Islamic dilemma.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of praise reports, Muslims becoming Christians, because the Lord's been using the Islamic dilemma for their personal testimonies. And some of these guys,
Awesome.
you can actually see it happening in real time. Like, we do a stream with David and Avery, and you hear the conversation with the guy while he's a Muslim. We talk about the Islamic dilemma. We talk about some questions he has about the Bible. A couple months later, he follows up, and he's like, hey, you remember me? And he's like, I'm a Christian now. And so that we've heard multiple others telling us the same thing as well. And we are sure to write down these people's names to pray for them. In fact, we have a whole list of people that we're praying for.
This week, and over the last couple of weeks, Brother Miled, Sister Miriam, Sister Jane. That's how you solve the Islamic dilemma.
That's how you do it.
That is, and it's amazing because they're just finding out about it. I mean, the people are calling in and stuff. They're hearing about this. I mean, they may have heard the Quran confirms the Bible and so on, but once you start taking them through the verses, they think they're these easy responses because their Dawah guys have told them, oh, no, this is so easy. Anyone can respond. It's a joke. It's so stupid. It's such a dumb argument. And then they think they've got some simple response to it. I'll just say Surah 2, verse 79, and that will be it. And what happens, we actually go to the passage, we go to the context, we go to commentaries, we go to hadiths, and they find out, this is actually a serious, serious problem. But this is all new. This is all new. People are just finding out about it. So exciting, exciting, exciting times. All right, so this is Dawah Wars Islamic Dilemma Edition. I haven't been like going around and checking out the stuff. We've got videos here. Apart from the shorter clip of Daniel Hakikachu. So I watched like a 2-minute clip that a couple people sent me. But I saw the shorter clip, but we're going to look at a longer clip. But Fareed's videos I don't know, guys. I didn't watch them when Fareed sent them to Daniel, but we've responded to other videos. We've responded to videos by Fareed in the past. So have we actually have I seen these in the past?
Yeah, actually, one of those videos is a response to us, yourself and Chris. It was a stream that we all did together where he issued a challenge for the Christian apologists to find one classical Muslim scholar who believes that the Bible is unaltered, uncorrupted, etc.
And we found a bunch.
And so we found a bunch, and then the one he responded to was, the one that it comes up in the video, which is a really bad response, but not even according to us, according to Daniel. Daniel thinks it's a bad response. So yeah, you're familiar with the content of what it is. One of them was a response to us. I don't really remember the other one though.
All right. So this may not.
Let me give my understanding of the chronology of the beef, and then people correct me if I have it wrong, and then that'll help the viewers understand what's happening. So Daniel did this debate, and then Fareed came out and said, you got caught with your pants down. Basically, you didn't do well.
Hey, let's keep this PG.
Then in response, Daniel attacked two videos.
Daniel was highly offended by that language.
Yeah.
Then in response, Daniel attacked two videos that Fareed made that are a year old. And so I don't even think Fareed articulated clearly what it was that was wrong with Daniel. He just said, you got caught with your pants down. But the only Islamic Dilemma videos that Daniel could find to attack were those two, I'm guessing.
And let me go ahead and pull up that tweet. That's the only tweet because I had to get it to find the videos that we're going to be responding to. But I actually checked out that tweet. So this is from Fareed, and Fareed says, David Wood argues that the Prophet, peace be upon him, and Ibn Abbas affirm the Bible. Actually, what I argued, Fareed, was, yes, your Prophet affirmed the Bible. That's directly out of the Hadith, but he's also the one supposedly revealing the Quran, which definitely affirms the Bible. Daniel brought up Ibn Abbas. I pointed out, at the end of the day, I really don't care if Ibn Abbas says the Bible is corrupted. If he said it and it was clear, I wouldn't care. My response would be, where does Allah say it? If Allah doesn't say it and Ibn Abbas says it, and you go with Ibn Abbas, you're worshiping Ibn Abbas according to your own prophet. And I would take it as you being condemned by Surah 2, verse 79, your guys' favorite verse. Anyway, why? You'd be taking something that someone wrote and treating it as the word of Allah. And you would be condemned by Surah 2, verse 79. So I really wouldn't care what Ibn Abbas says. However, we have some reports that conflict with what you guys say about Ibn Abbas. And so that's what I pointed out during the debate. And then he says, these two videos from my playlist refute both attributes. Refute is a strong word, Fareed. Refute is a strong word. Let's say in these two videos, let's say something we can all agree on. In these two videos from my playlist, I say words in response to some of the issues. I say words in response to some of the issues. Just say that, and then we could agree. Refute doesn't mean what I think you think it means. Muslims should familiarize themselves with responses to avoid getting caught with their pants down during a debate.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think Daniel was wearing pants. I think he was wearing a dress, but I don't know. He might have had pants on under that.
Let's hope he had pants underneath. Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
Oh, so pants means something different in British English. So the Chris is thinking of something. Chris is thinking of underwear when he says pants.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, for us, pants means like jeans or something like that. So,
Yeah.
Okay, pants. So that's like underpants. So you got pants and underpants, but pants. Okay, all right. But yeah. So this is Fareed warning Daniel not to get caught with his pants down like Muhammad on the night of Al-Zut. All right. Now we're good.
The Al-Zut.
Okay.
So that has been retweeted by a number of people, including some Muslim dawagandists, some people who are, popular for doxing, I'll say, some of those people as well. But they're very big, very big in the dawa world. And then
Hang on. Is this the same Ijaz who's also a racist and refers to people of other races as racial epithets?
That's
okay,
the same
guy.
one.
Okay,
That's
just want to
the
make
same
sure.
one. So he's retweeting it. And by the way, that's Daniel's former debate partner on Fresh and Fit. So, but then again, I don't know if that's saying much because Jake was also his former debate partner too. So
I'm glad that it go well.
So Fareed has been, nonstop, and he knows that we're using his content against Daniel, and so he put out like one thing where he said something negative about you in the debate, but everything else was about Daniel, how bad Daniel did. And Jake is actually retweeting some of that stuff as well. So Jake is in on it. All these Dawa guys are basically all in agreement that Daniel did a terrible job in the debate. So, yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to point out that's interesting because where was I? I don't remember which channel I was on the other day. It's all been a blur. My brain was fried. But I think it was with God Logic. Anyway, was live a couple of days ago, and Fareed,
IP's channel,
Fareed came up, and I offered the offer of all offers. Here's how you should have responded. And then there are even people here and there in various comment sections going, why are you baiting Daniel, not Fareed? Fareed's the one who really knows. Like, what kind of fantasy land do you live in? So I offered Fareed the deal of all deals. I said, if you think you can do better, we will debate. I will debate the exact same topic with you, and I will use the same opening statement.
Finishing up my Grant Cracker snacks.
But apart from that, I will use the exact same opening statement. You cannot possibly get caught off guard.
And holding the baby.
Design your entire opening statement as a response, a prepared response to my opening statement.
Wow.
That is like as
we have a baby, a toddler, and a preteen.
So just wanted to point that out. That is an open.
Basically, at this point, he doesn't move very much.
Fans out there, if he doesn't accept that, my goodness, how are you not getting this? How are you not getting the fact that they're just terrified?
And that's what Daniel said to him. He said, "Why don't you man up?"
He used a little bit more flavorful language.
In very more colorful language.
Oh shit! I jumped the gap.
Debate yourself.
Why don't you gird up your loins and face him like a man? Sorry.
Yeah, whatever you think. At least Daniel's going after.
I've been watching videos on this tank game.
Yeah, he needs to gird up his backbone.
See if I can find it. It's I forget what it's called. No, not War Tanks.
Oh man.
No, it's
Anything else before we start jumping into some of this?
Yeah. So you know that meme where you have like the two Spider-Mans pointing.
Let's see.
What the?
That's basically what's. Oh no!
Well,
yeah. There's variations. There's one.
Tank head.
But that's what I want you to think about when you have Fareed and Daniel. Fareed's pointing.
See if we can find it on Steam. No? Where do you download that? History. You want her? If you're just setting things up, no. You can finish what you're doing. I can hold her for a little bit. I'm not gonna game right away. I'm gonna finish eating some graham crackers and... Oh, but you're going to bed, yeah, sure. I can just keep an eye out if you need to drop her off or something and need more sleep. I just fed her a little bit. What's on that movie too? Night. Excuse me. $30 for the game. I'm pretty sure it's a solo player game though.
What? What game?
Tankhead. I'll send it. Yeah.
I have no idea what that game is. It's not even showing in the thing.
I know it's on Epic. I sent you a link in them.
No Epic.
Well, I'm not buying it. I'm just saying you can check it out. It's pretty cool.
I already bought 2 games from Epic and nobody plays them.
What one?
Lord of the Rings one and Evil Dead, which actually looked like a lot of fun for like a party game.
Oh.
Like one of us would be the demon and just spawning demons while you guys are just like frantically running around looking for things. You're like, ah! He spawned one in the room with me!
Yeah, I thought Hanks was interested in that for a little bit.
That's all it is lately. Let me know more, and then that's it.
You're enjoying that witch farm or whatever it is, witch something.
I'm trying to. It just, I kind of wish it was multiplayer because it feels like it should use it. Like it feels like a Souls game, like Remnant. Souls.
Yeah.
And what's a good roguelite that everyone likes? Can't remember.
Yeah, Remnant's a pretty good one.
It's a spider.
Splatter damage.
Went the wrong way.
60%.
Just mute it. It's okay. I just blasted my ear out for a second. That's all.
Huh?
Yeah, the TV turned up like a bunch.
Huh?
Exactly. I'm hoping to be able to play Battlefront 6 or Battlefield 6 a little bit tonight.
I mean, you could still play it.
Yeah, but I don't think the open beta starts until midnight. I'm not even 100% sure. I know it starts tomorrow. I just don't know. They don't say a time, so I'm assuming at midnight.
I don't like that it needs admin rights.
Everything anymore needs admin rights. Alright, that's the last graham cracker right now. And my milk.
Come on and die, you motherfucker. Really?
doesn't make sense, but it's still
Mm-hmm. Always goofy.
Your argument is bad. The other one, Daniel's like, no, your argument is bad. And it's,
Oh yeah, you got to make one of those then.
yeah,
we got
I made one. It's on X if you want to. I don't know. I can pull it up, but it's basically basically what's going on. It's exactly what is going on.
Trash.
And Daniel is accusing Fareed's responses of being bad, and I'm kind of saying like, guys, you're both right. It's okay.
You're both bad.
You're both right. You're both bad, and so it's not a matter of like like siding with one or the other. It's like we're agreeing with you both here. You guys are both right that you're both bad, and it's kind of like this. It's kind of like when I'm observing the situation, what I noticed is
From observing the situation. I treat women like prostitutes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Daniel took it best.
yeah. Daniel took it best. I mean, Daniel actually debated, so he took it best. But but what I noticed is like imagine like two people who are able to recognize something bad in the other person, but they can't recognize that same thing in themselves. So like Daniel thinks he has these amazing responses to the Islamic dilemma. But other Muslims are recognizing, no, your responses are bad. And then Fareed thinks he has these amazing responses, but then Daniel and other Muslims are recognizing it's bad. It's like you guys are able to recognize it in each other, but you have like this blind spot that comes to yourself. So we're just here kind of like opening their eyes and filling the gaps and like, hey guys, you're all really bad at this.
I was actually thinking the same thing when I saw, because again, the only thing I saw was the short 2-minute clip of Daniel where he was making fun of Fareed's response to the hadith in Sunan Abu Dawud, and he was saying, well, you're saying that this scholar says it's good, and this other scholar says this, and you think that's a good response, and I'm like, Daniel's correct. Daniel's absolutely correct, but the guys he's responding to are looking at his responses and going, your responses suck. So they're destroying they're all, no matter what response they give, we can find other Muslims who are saying that's a terrible response.
Exactly.
So have you guys seen, there's a guy called Yemeni who's a Muslim apologist. And this is like before the debate, a few months ago. It kind of showed me just how much like at war these guys are.
Wait, isn't that the guy who threatened you?
Yeah, not me. He didn't threaten me. He threatened to unalive. Yeah, people at Speaker's Corner. He went online. People said nasty things about his prophet. He got upset and said, "Okay, I'm gonna actually go and do something, and this is a real threat." People even told the police about this, and it's still there. The live stream is still there to this day. It's not even like people reported it. I reported it, but there were people who went out and said, "Actually, that's a credible threat." But nothing happened to him. It's still there. But anyway, he made a live stream in which and I watched the whole thing because it was fascinating. He's presenting the case that you cannot say there is any wahi or any revelation in the previous scriptures in the biblical text from an Islamic point of view. That's and this is like the before you had Dean Responds and others, that's kind of what everyone sort of said. Oh, it's all been corrupted. You can't take any of it for granted. Although they're being consistent with that view, I would argue. But that was what they would say. But now you've got this other group of da'is who's like, actually, that's a terrible response. We can't keep saying that. That doesn't work. Obviously, the Quran says there's true wahi revelations in our scriptures, and they're pointing it out, but they're trying to then be like, okay, but don't think too much into this. And so now you've got these two groups that are like saying, what are you guys doing? You know, some of them are even saying, look, you're kafir. You've left Islam because you're saying there's revelation to be found in the Bible. And it's amazing to watch this. I'm like, wow, these guys are tearing each other apart because they can't even come together on a solution anymore. There's no consensus now. There's different factions that give different answers depending on who you ask, which is amazing. I really, really like this. I think this is really interesting. So, yeah.
So they are actually ending up with some Dawa wars. Go ahead, Christian.
You have to attack the definition of Injil and Torah, or you have to attack the definition of confirm. And so that's your tension because, Quran confirms.
That's a good way of summarizing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you'll have one class of Muslims attacking confirm and one attacking Injil and Torah.
Yeah, and so we're going to watch the first video now, and this is a response to, I'll just go ahead and put the hadith on the screen real quick. So this is a hadith, Sunan Abu Dawud 4449. Narrated Abdullah ibn Umar, a group of Jews came and invited the Messenger of Allah to Kuf, so he visited them in their school. They said, Abu Qasim, one of our men has committed fornication with a woman, so pronounce judgment upon them. They placed a cushion for the Messenger of Allah, who sat on it and said, bring me the Torah. It was then brought. He then withdrew the cushion from beneath him and placed the Torah on it, saying, I believed in thee and in him who revealed thee. He then said, bring me one who is learned among you. Then a young man was brought. The transmitter then mentioned the rest of the tradition of stoning, similar to the one transmitted by Malik from Nafi. So Muhammad is actually is not talking about some long-lost copy of the Torah or some book that has long been corrupted. He said, bring me the Torah, i.e. the Torah that you have right now. It was then brought. He puts it on this judgment cushion and says, I believed in thee and in him who revealed thee. So he believes in this book the same way he believes in Allah. And that is hard to reconcile if that is a corrupt book that he says he believes in. So is that a corrupt God he believes in? Anyway, so that's the hadith. about to get Fareed's response. We all ready?
Yep.
Let's see what Fareed's got for us. Gonna be powerful. Gonna be powerful. Hey, Daniel, here's how you should have responded, according to Fareed.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video, I'm going to be going through a hadith that's often quoted by the popular critics of.
By the way, guys, I'll be stopping it in various places, but if there's anything you see and you want me to hit pause or something, just let me know. So shout pause or give a signal like caw, something like that.
Zoot, zoot, something like that.
Oh yeah, just yell zoot. That'll be the new signal. Anytime you want the video to stop, just go zoot, zoot, zoot.
And it's something that comes up within the Islamic dilemma discussion. And I've made a couple of videos about this topic in the past, but I've never addressed this hadith specifically. So what is the hadith that I'm referring to, and how is it used?
Oh, fire intro. It's his fire intro to signify all of Dawah going down in flames.
Oh, I thought it was about the burning of the Qurans, but fair enough.
That too. It's all going down in flames. Dumpster fire.
We've already read from Sunan Abu Dawud where we have this. So let's go ahead and check out the passage from Sunan Abu Dawud again. So the historical.
Where the heck was that? Oh, is that? I think that's Al Fadi's place. I think that's Al Fadi's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is probably Al Fadi's show.
We have this. So let's go ahead and check out the passage from Sunan Abu Dawud again. So the historical background here is that the Jews came to Muhammad to settle a dispute. Muhammad was a political leader in Medina, and the Jews came to Muhammad to settle a dispute. So they come to Muhammad, and there was the custom there was the judge would sit on a judgment cushion to signify that he's the judge. So they set out a cushion for the Messenger of Allah, and he sat on it. Then he said, bring me the Torah. It was brought, and he took the cushion from beneath him and placed the Torah on it and said, I believe in you and in the one who revealed you. So notice, this is not Muhammad saying, hey, I'm affirming the inspiration of some original Torah that is now lost to us. He tells the Jews, bring me the Torah that you have. So this is the Torah that existed in 7th century Arabia.
So yes, there is a narration in Sunan Abi Dawud in which the Prophet, peace be upon him, makes a judgment upon a Jewish man and woman and rules upon them with what is found within the Torah. Now, in this hadith...
Well, we're all in agreement. We can all pack it up and go home.
In Sunan Abi Dawud, the report...
What's that? Good.
I was going to say, you wonder, like, if his viewers ever watching it go, I feel like David's making better points than Fareed is. Like, it's just funny that he shows your whole argument. You know,
Daniel
and then
thought that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Daniel thought that. Daniel thought that David made a better point than Farid. He just said why you granting David's reading of it. So he actually said no. David understands it better than you, like it's authentic, but why would you grant his reading of it? Like there's another way. There's another way to understand it. Apparently, but Daniel failed to provide that.
You know what? Daniel Hakikachu is right. Farid's response sucks. Anyway.
It's the only time he was right.
Yeah, as far as Farid's response, I kind of only know it just from Daniel's clip where he's making fun of him for saying, "Oh, there's a scholar who says that this can't be trusted" or something like that. So we'll see here.
Includes an edition in which the Prophet, peace be upon him, says, "I believe in you and he who revealed you." He's saying this to the Torah after placing it upon a cushion.
Good point.
The specific report is graded as Hasan, meaning that it's a mid-tier hadith by Al-Albani. However, Sheikh Shu'aib al-Arnaout grades it as a weak hadith. So what do we do in this situation when different scholars disagree with each other?
We pick the one that we like best and the one that is saying what we want, because that's how we do it with Allah, and that's how we do it with a hadith, and that's how we do it with our commentaries. Welcome to Islam.
By the way, just to expand on that a little bit, like the list of people who accept it, he makes it sound like Al-Albani is just on his own, like he's the only hadith scholar or he's the only scholar of Islam.
By the way, isn't he one of the goats? Just for everyone who doesn't recognize these names.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the goat, and he's a bigger goat than Arnaout because he's more well known.
Yeah, he's a way more well known and way more senior scholar for Muslims. But obviously, you have of course Abu Dawud himself. He thought that it was authentic. You have another hadith scholar, Abdul Haq al-Ishbili. He's another one. You have another one, Ibn Hajar said that it's Hassan. You have Sheikh bin Baz. He said that it's Jayyid, which means good, and
Al-Baqai.
Al-Baqai as well. He said that it's Hassan as well.
Yeah.
Now,
hang on. I just want to point out as well. I mean, I've seen this in tons of commentaries, so I don't know.
That's what I was just going to say.
I don't know if there's something before the cut. Like I think Ibn Kathir quotes this in I think Surah 5 verse 41 is I think where he quotes this to set up the stage for the verses that follow and so on. But I don't know. I don't know if like right before that in Ibn Kathir he said, "Oh, by the way, this thing's untrustworthy," but
No,
even if it weren't or something like that.
He doesn't.
So just the same thought that you just had, that's exactly the next group of scholars. You have Ibn Taymiyyah who does that. You have Ibn Kathir and you have Ibn al-Qayyim as well. All three of them cite it without refuting it. Like they don't say, "Oh, by the way, this is a weak." None of them say that. They cite it and just leave it as it is. And
which means they believe it.
Yeah. So a lot of times, like we mentioned, like Abu Dawud, for example, he has like a rule where he says if I like say something in my hadith and I don't comment on it, like basically my silence means that I think that it's authentic. So I'm not saying this rule for consent. Yeah, silence is consent. Yeah. But, so I'm not saying this a rule for all Muslim scholars, but usually if they think it's weak, they note it or something. So we just listed about 9. I'm just counting them up. 9 of them who say that it's either authentic or they don't comment on it at all, which gives you the assumption that they think that it's authentic. Versus one scholar that Farid could dig up in the trash bin.
So hang on.
Daniel notes in his response to this too. He's like, "You could grant that this is weak, and that doesn't solve the Islamic dilemma. It's just this one particular." Like he mocks.
Yeah, this is supporting evidence.
Yeah. He's like, "This doesn't solve it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but this is for everyone who's watching. This is a perfect example, and you need to observe this happening over and over again to really because. If we were sitting there saying, "Hey, there's this hadith," and they're like, "Ah, but this hadith scholar says it's not authentic or it's weak or something like this," and we say, "Ah, but this hadith scholar, you might not know what's going on," and so on. There is like massive cherry picking in Islam. Again, they do it with the Quran. They'll cherry pick the verse that is closest to the meaning they want, and then they'll insert the meaning they want into there, and then they'll throw out every other Quran verse that tells them they're lying. They'll do that with the hadiths. They'll do that with their commentaries. They'll do that with everything. So you take a hadith like this. It's, here's a scholar who says it's weak.
Okay. Abu Dawood, one of your greatest hadith collectors,
Mm.
he didn't think it was weak. Albani, the goat of hadith scholars, he didn't think it was weak. And you go down the list, they already pointed out Ibn Kathir, Ibn Taymiyyah, the legends of tafsir, they're quoting this as authentic. And what do? Oh, we don't like it. Let's look around for someone who says it's weak and we'll just go with that. And that is absolutely like a pathetic methodology. But it's what you do. Why? Because you have to. Otherwise, you're stuck with the Islamic dilemma. So this is you trying to get out of it, and it's pathetic.
But I don't even know why this is an issue. It's in the Quran. Surah 2, verse 41, Allah is saying to people, to children of Israel, I confirm what is with you.
Right.
Which is the Torah.
Yeah.
What is with you, present tense. So you want to deny that Muhammad put it on the cushion to say that the Torah wasn't good at the time? The Quran says it was. So why are we even having this discussion?
And that's part of what Daniel says in response to this too. Like Christian had mentioned, that he says, like, look, even if you get rid of it, it doesn't destroy the Islamic dilemma. He says it in a more sarcastic way, but he's like, that doesn't destroy the Islamic dilemma. That's what he's communicating. I just want to say one more thing about Al-Albani, because one of the things that this other hadith scholar notes is, like, there's one person in the chain that he considers to be weak. So because he considers him to be weak, he considers this particular wording to be, discredited or inauthentic or weak. Yeah, it's like Da'if, he says, in this context. But Al-Albani and all the other scholars I just mentioned.
All right, go to the bathroom and I'll be right back. Live. Close this channel since I'm not taking the meds anymore. And that gets closed. But I didn't get moved to my okay. No, no, Will just got off. Oh, no, Will's still here. Oh, I wonder if we'll get lucky. Is there a queue of like 400,000 people? It's a pressure point to cause it to hurt. Yeah, if you press on it too hard. No. Or you have a knot, one or the other. Phineas and Ferb are gonna do it all. EA Sports. It's in the game. Okay. Wait. Graphic drivers too. I don't want to do that while streaming though. That always screws up my stream. No, it worked. Oh, that'll be awesome. Compiling shaders. Preparing game. Graphics. Yep, it says open beta weekend live now. Oh, cool. Voice chat has reverb distancing applied based on player location. Voice chat has position and regulation for player's location. Ducking. Our game audio should be reduced when someone God bless you. Okay, it'd make it easier to adjust So B is for bullets, N for fire rate, and for range finding. Should be, yeah. F is for melee, mouse button for gadgets, cheeseburger need, T toggle laser and or flashlight. King of the Hill, conquest, breakthrough. The training grounds are open, but the actual games are locked yet. Yeah. So no playing yet. That's okay. Where is it?
For it? No. Can you report for me?
Is it in your pocket?
And she's like, I brought it up. It has to be up here. I put it in my pocket.
It's in your pocket.
Go check the toilet. She thought she put her mouse in her pocket. She's a laptop.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I had it in my pocket. I brought it upstairs. And I'm like, well, do you know where you put it when you came in? She's like, no, check the other side of the bed. So I did all that fun stuff. I went to the bathroom and she was like, check in there. Check behind the toilet. And I'm like, God.
Oh no.
And then she's like, I still don't know where I put it. I'm like, that was like an hour ago. I came back down and she's like, did you find it at all? And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for something.
Oh, I was supposed to be tearing the house apart.
Yeah, and then she's like, can you go find it, William? And I'm like, fine. Went downstairs. The cat battered the shit out of my calf, so my calf looks like scratching post now. And I think she's staring at me. And I had to go wake up my dad because he's sleeping in the basement with the dog. The dog can't walk up the steps.
Mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Great job.
Anyway, yeah.
Leave. Play some ranked.
What? Are you playing right now?
No, the servers aren't open for the main game. Just like the training grounds are open. guess I could play against bots if I wanted to. But now I'm back to Mecha Break. Just sad the queue times got even longer for this game. And I assume they're just going to be long because of the Battlefield release coming up. Schmuck.
Panther, ready to strike. Aleseness, ready to strike. Hurricane, pilot proceeding on board. Injecting Coaxium particles. Pilot sync rate stable. Might bridge initiated.
Eliminate all mercenaries in the Sky Fortress. The first squad to 8 kills wins the round. Secure 2 out of 3 rounds of attack to suppress the enemy forces.
Panther, taking off. Panther, diving into ambush.
Objective. Neutralize all hostile strikers and swiftly conclude the operation. Melee mode. Insufficient engine output. Weapon not ready. Insufficient engine output. Insufficient
Yeesh. We got messed up.
Landing area.
Panther, diving into ambush.
The new round has begun. Shield online. Defense mode. Insufficient engine output. Shield activated. Energy low. Stabilizing. Shield activated. Weapon not ready. Weapon not ready. Defense mode. Weapon not ready. Shield activated. Shield online. Initiating ejection sequence. Double kill.
Kill.
Striker ready. Switching to boarding mode.
Panther, diving into ambush.
Shield. Defeat.
Damage.
MVP. There's no escape from Stego's barrage. Panther, ready to strike. Falcon, ready to strike. Lumine, pilot proceeding on board.
Light bridge initiated.
Escort the payload along the route to the launch site. Activating the consoles along the way can speed up the payload. Make sure to reach the destination before the enemy.
Panther, taking off.
Shield online. Energy low. Objective. Activate signal console and guide payload to destination. Engine output. Insufficient engine output. Weapon not ready. Console A activates in 20 seconds. Shield online. Subtask. Capture activating signal console. Insufficient engine output. Activating signal console. Energy low. Signal console out of range. Inactivating signal console. Activating signal console. Activating signal console. Shield activated. Someone push the payload. Enemy payload is swiftly advancing. Insufficient engine output. Shield offline. Shield online. Will someone push the payload? Shield activated. Weapon not ready. Shield deactivated.
Can someone push the payload?
Weapon not ready. Enemy down. Not ready. Energy low. Shield activated.
The payload needs
Energy
protecting.
low. Advancing payload. Insufficient engine output. Unavailable. Console energy low.
Difficult to aim this dude or what?
Ready to head to the console. Let's go.
They made it like impossible to aim him.
Engine output. Activating signal console.
No, this
Activating signal console. Signal console out of range. Falcon here. The sky is ours. Signal console out of range. Shield activating signal console. Activating. Enemy down. Weapon not ready. Shield DS signal console out of range.
ready to head to the console. Let's go.
Melee mode. Insufficient. Assist. Subtask. Assist. Insufficient engine output. Weapon activating. Assist. Insufficient engine output. Enemy down. Insufficient engine output.
Drive the payload back.
Activated. Payload is swiftly advancing. Energy low. Shield offline. Shield online.
The payload needs protecting.
Defense mode. Assist. Weapon not
Payload
ready.
needs protecting.
Insufficient engine output. Weapon not ready. Shield activated.
The payload needs protecting.
Weapon not ready. Assist. Melee mode. Enemy down.
Payload needs protecting.
Stabilizing. Insufficient engine output. Assist. Shield offline. Weapon not ready.
The payload needs protecting.
Jeez.
Victory.
Sprinkles of first flying.
Flying all over the place.
My ass. And I only got him. Oh my god.
MVP. Hurricane cleanses all strife.
Fine. Oh.
because I'm going nowhere.
Hmm. Shouldn't be from my microphone, is it? Oh, okay. Okay.
New mission available. Please.
Shut your legs out! What?
Panther, ready to strike. Panaka, ready to strike. Hurricane, ready to strike. Narukami, ready to strike. Aquila, ready to strike. Pilot proceeding on board. Injecting coaxium particles. Pilot sync rate stable. Mind bridge initiated.
Obtain launch keys from 3 data terminals to restart the rocket launch. A key will periodically be generated at one of 3 data terminals. Obtain and upload the keys to launch site before Windrose.
Yep, Papa's going.
What?
Welkin.
Yep.
Taking off. Welkin. Ready to pick off some stragglers.
Optical camo drone will soon go offline. Fire control system warning. In 60 seconds. Shield better go get that engine out. Reloading.
Narukami, moving in to get some cover.
Insufficient engine output. Insufficient engine output. Sword armor offline. Energy low. Insufficient engine output. Key generated at point B.
Better go get that key.
Energy low. Assist. Fire from front. Assist. Initiating ejection sequence.
Papa said, "Don't forget your wallet again, buddy."
Double kill.
I think so.
Better go get that key.
Welkin. Ready to pick off some stragglers.
Well,
Fire control system unlocked. Shield online. Insufficient engine output. Key generates at point A in 30 seconds. Weapon not ready. Key generated at point A. Obtained key.
Better go get that
Oh.
key.
well, oh, okay, this is so- What? I just- Again,
Engine output. Warning. Enemy secured key. Intercept now.
Better go get that key.
Enemy down. Assist. Key generates at point B in 30 seconds. Energy low. Energy low. Energy low.
Panther! Diving into ambush!
Key generated Ignition sequence. Enemy down. Double kill. Ready for deployment.
Welcome. Ready to pick off some stragglers.
Warning, Corite Pulse Storm. Enemy down. Energy
Better go
low.
get that key.
Insufficient engine output. Insufficient engine output. Key secured. Provide cover. Insufficient engine output.
Let's go get the key.
Gee.
Victory!
No, the wind.
Enemy down. Landing MVP.
Panaka delivers justice and salvation.
Her team is just so death.
He who controls the fungus controls the universe!
Like a little break and my stomach settle because it's upset for some reason.
What you chirping about? What you chirping about? Chirp, chirp.
I ate too much food.
Oh.
They're familiar with this with this person in the chain, and they know, like, Alabani gives him a different grading. Like he thinks that he's like trustworthy, but sometimes he has like some defects or something. So I found in 3 different books just from Al-Albani, 3 different books of his where he grades hadith. 2 of them it says Hasan, and 1 of them he actually says Sahih. So, and he's familiar with this, one narrator that Arnaud has problems
Yeah,
with.
Arnaud is people who don't know, he's a contemporary scholar. He died in 2004. So whatever information he had, all these previous scholars had before him, sometimes by hundreds of years.
Yeah, I have to say, Fareed, looking like a lot of picking and choosing if you're going to dismiss
she
this
doing?
hadith. Like, seriously, this is bad. And as DOC
Really?
pointed out, why are you flipping out on this hadith when it says exactly what the Quran says? Let me just think about this. Allah says over and over again, I'm confirming what's with you. I'm confirming what's with you. I'm talking about the Torah. I'm
So
talking
go
about
to
the Torah.
sleep.
Believe in all of it, not just parts. I'm really serious here. Jews, judge by the Torah. Jews and Christians have no ground to stand upon unless you stand fast by the Torah and the gospel. It's like as clear as he can possibly make it. And then as like the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae, we say, oh, and by the way, if you think you can wriggle your way out of this, even Muhammad said the exact same thing. And they go, no, he would never say that. Let's look around for a reason to call it weak.
Like, the hell you is?
What
Come over there.
Muhammad agreed with Allah and you can't allow that? What the heck is this religion, man? What is this? All right.
Oh yeah, I have to say, so Fareed came up with a video that features the response that Daniel gave, and Fareed, he's not the brightest Muslim dawah giving this. No, but it's really funny because Daniel is criticizing his video, and Fareed doesn't actually give a response in the video. What he does is he replays the video. So the video that Daniel already said was insufficient and was bad, he just replays the same video, like the same points over again. He's like, maybe he'll get it now the second time. It's like,
Yeah.
he wasn't convinced the first time.
I guess that's the dawah method. If your terrible response doesn't work the first time, just give the same terrible response again.
Literally,
that's what we've been hearing for years.
Yeah.
All right, break it down for us, Fareed. Break it down for us. Blow our minds away.
Well, you see, it's nothing like a popularity contest. They're both established hadith scholars, and they've both graded a massive number of hadiths. So,
but one has your most respected commentators on his side, and the other is trying to avoid what the hadith says.
What we do in this situation...
It's not a popularity contest, but like all of hadith scholarship is based on the authority of whoever is saying what they're saying, which is like basically a popularity contest.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like
they actually have a concept in Islam, like for how to determine something is true. They have something called like consensus.
Could be a zombie.
And so that literally by definition
that's
is
a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Hey, there is one thing we're forgetting in all of this. We're talking about hadith scholars and what's weak and what can stand up to scrutiny and so on. Didn't Sheikh Yasser Qadi recently admit that hadith methodology cannot stand up to academic scrutiny at all, and no academic takes this seriously, and you just have to accept by blind faith as a Muslim that this is the way to go? Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah, but Yasser Qadi's 2 steps ahead. He's way smarter than all of these losers. So he's already like, yeah, this doesn't work. They haven't caught up yet.
So the point there is, Fareed, you're kind of helping your buddy Sheikh Yasser Qadi. when you're like, oh, this scholar says this and he disagrees with this scholar, and so we'll just pick the one we like best and go with that, even though whatever we do, other scholars are going to say the opposite. And not only that, if we attack this hadith, we've shown that our greatest commentators of all time were all using weak material to make their points, and it's actually weak material that cannot stand up to scrutiny. Dude.
I was just thinking, it's a good thing that Yasukari doesn't drink. Because if he went to like a wedding and he had a bit of
why?
too much to drink, can you imagine what he'd be like? He'd be like, "You guys
Probably will.
The hadith. It's all just a lie."
Gabe says he's hearing weird voices, and I say it's probably you.
In 1984, they had this thing called doublethink, where you have two contradicting
Gabe thinks it's me too.
at the same time. And I feel like he has that, right? But
that was a voice.
Alcohol in there, that boundary.
Yeah, he thought I was messing with my voice changer when you were.
In Islam to keep everyone from blurting all this stuff out. Yasser Khadi be like, you didn't hear half of it when I did the holes in the narrative interview. You guys didn't hear half of it. The whole Quran is one epic disaster, but I can't do it because it's my entire career. I can't tell. Father, why have I failed you? You wanted me to defend the perfect preservation, and I failed.
He starts calling on his father. Oh gosh, he'd be like, "Okay, guys, you've heard about Gog and Magog. Let me tell you right now, zombies." Because he gave the whole like zombie idea.
Didn't he say he was joking later on when everyone attacked?
After he sobered up,
At the time, he didn't say that.
There's the party.
For a whole sermon.
Yeah, it was just a joke.
Mom will be back in a minute.
That's one of Josh's.
Every time you hold her, Gabe, she just feels that comfortable with you.
The so-called science of hadith as well. The fact that you have different scholars who have different ratings for like different people that are considered reliable or not reliable. It's not an objective standard.
Hopefully, they say girls are easier to potty train than boys.
Is this one right or is this one right? Because this guy says this guy's.
I just can't like.
Good, reliable.
I can't just like.
And this one says he's not.
I'm just
so, there's a subjectivity there that makes it impossible for this to be the method.
And they're both. You can have like what Farid said. Both scholars are equally valid. It's not that one was better than the other. So now what do you do?
Yeah.
And they're saying different things.
But he was setting it up to like it was just like 2 scholars. But I just listed 9 scholars who say it's authentic, and I mean, it sounds better if you only have like one scholar saying one thing and one scholar saying something else. Because then you can be like, okay, let's like value the evidence. Let's see what they say. But then if you have like 9 scholars versus 1 scholar, it's like how could they all miss what like little Farid with no education has to say?
Yeah, Farid sits there and goes through the chain. Dude, who are you?
That's what Eli says.
Had scholars who had the same chains as you. They said that it was good. So
just instinctually reading the Quran, you try to get inside the head of the author of that book. What kind of person would this be? What kind of things would they do? And then you read this hadith.
You used to get angry at us when you got hurt too. Like, you didn't want to talk to us.
The person who wrote the Quran would do. Like if you're reading, all those verses through the 540, it's like this checks out. It passes the spin. This seems like something the historical Muhammad would do if the Quran is in any way an image of the historical Muhammad.
And that's why they made it good.
Yeah, Eli just reeks.
All these scholars. They're not
silly. And on that topic of one scholar saying something and another scholar saying something else, and them getting different results, even though they supposedly got this awesome methodology, and then non-Muslim academics looking at this going, this is a disaster, look at this. It's even within hadith collections. This is also something that Joshua Little points out, that you have topics in the hadith, and these hadiths over here will all be sahih. These hadiths over here will be sahih, and yet they're saying completely different things. So he uses the example of like Mutta in one of his talks that he gave, and his view is that Islam back in early on in the early century was regional. Like you had the Islam around Mecca and the Islam in the area of Medina and the Islam in the area of Kufa, and so you had different, and they all prayed and things like that, and they had common ground. But basically, it's regional. They're coming up with their own rules that are popular in their region. And then once you end up with this attempt to
Jack still hates us.
standardize Islam, then in order to defend their local
Jack.
tradition, they start writing these isnads and tracing them back
No,
earlier and
don't
earlier
hate us.
until it goes back to a companion of Muhammad. That became the method to defend your particular version. But guess what? Since they're all
Yeah.
making these things up, then you get to hadiths. You go to you'll have multiple hadiths where it says that Muhammad allowed mutta for a while, but then he forbade it, and then there was no more mutta.
What?
But then you'll go to other passages in the exact same hadith,
Probably a year ago.
grade of Sahih, and it'll say, no, it was mutta was allowed throughout the time of Muhammad and even into the time of the caliphs, and it's a later caliph who forbade the practice and so on. So you'll get these contradictory results, and it's like, why are we supposed to take this methodology seriously? You got some serious problems. So it's clear there's some things that are being made up here, and it's just. But here, notice on that issue, like mutta, what are you going to do? If you don't want to practice mutta, you'd say, oh, these Sahih narrations which say Muhammad forbade the practice, those are the correct ones. So I'm going with those. If you want to practice mutta, then you just say, oh, these other ones about a later caliph actually forbidding the practice, those are the correct stories, and therefore someone wrote it back and tried to pin it on Muhammad, but we're not going to allow them to deceive us like that. Mutta was good throughout the lifetime of Muhammad, and no one should be allowed to take away this great and beautiful practice of treating women like prostitutes. So
I mean, that's like exactly what we're seeing with Farid right now. It's like you have a hadith here that goes against something that he finds it problematic. So he tries to find a scholar somewhere under the trash bin somewhere to say that it's weak. And you could just imagine that's what the people who are making the stuff were doing as well. They were like, yeah, we want this practice, we want this. So they're just making stuff up. Now Farid, all he needs to do is find the one that, and this is so common in Islam, when it comes to Islamic law and practice. You can find them saying, oh, one scholar saying, oh, this is forbidden or this is disliked, and then someone's like, oh, it's okay, you can do it, and it's like you just pick and choose.
And then that's why people say, okay, let's go to the Quran. And then when you go to the Quran, they say, no, we can't understand the Quran on its own. So you're stuck.
Yeah. It's like you want this ruling, okay, you go with this scholar. That's what we call it, scholar for $1. Scholar for $1.
Yes, I have a friend of mine who's 96 years old, and I can talk to her about her dad who fought in World War I. And so I can get back about 100 years in living memory to a primary source on someone. The problem, though, so you can get really old, unwritten data. So I wouldn't want to say every single hadith is definitely false, but it is double that amount of time period. And the people who are most sympathetic to the position, like Bukhari, he said there's 600,000 false ones and 7,000 true ones. And his way of figuring that out is to look at the isnads that can be just as easily made up as the matins. And so, yeah, it might be that you imagine a room full of dust and there's a couple of flecks of gold in there, but you have no way to find it. So there might be a real tradition. It just seems to me, there'd have to be so much fake information if even the people most sympathetic to the position are like, yeah, the vast majority of these are fake.
Yeah, that's the issue. If people are passing down oral tradition and trying their best to do so reliably, then obviously there's a problem. Like the longer you go, the more of a problem you're going to have. But the issue in Islam is simply happening in an atmosphere where we know that all these people are doing their best to preserve accurate information. It's clear that some of them are, but also in an environment where they're making things up left and right in order to justify every single position that comes along. And it's like, what do you do with this myth? So you'll have people like Jay Smith and Robert Spencer who look at that and go, this is one big mess, can't trust any of it, therefore we can't even trust it. It's reliable on something like the existence of Muhammad. I think you can get, and Joshua Little believes you can get to some reliable information there, but you have to apply actual methods of historians, right? Historians have methods for taking even unreliable material and trying to get to certain things in that material that are still historically
reliable, but Muslims reject these methods. Muslims reject these methods. Well, guess what? If you're rejecting those methods, which are the only methods that you could actually use to take this giant mess that you have and try and establish some historically reliable information, if you're rejecting that, then and you're just going, nope, the only method is this. It's not criticism, and you guys are just playing this pick and choose game. It's wow, you guys are in trouble. You don't even realize it. All right, back to Fareed here. Blow our minds, Fareed. You haven't done it yet, but here we go.
Is we stick with the evidence. You see, the discussion revolves around a narrator called Hisham bin Sa'ad, who Al-Albani considers to be a mid-tier narrator, and who Sheikh Shu'aib considers to be a weak narrator. Of course, these decisions in regards to how strong or how weak a narrator is basically revolves around what classical scholars have had to say about those narrators. And we often find
you've been ready for Diva.
classical compilations that list out the opinions of the classical scholars of hadith. And yes, you will find a lot of criticism about him, but you will find a bunch of quotes that seem to put him in that mid-tier category. So I can definitely see why both Sheikh Shu'aib arrived at his conclusion. I can also understand why Al-Albani arrived at his conclusion. However, there are some works that perhaps weren't...
So here's Fareed thinking he knows better than Al-Albani and all the other scholars we mentioned.
Maybe I'm like jumping the gun a bit here, but does he ever actually give an argument as to why this is not correct? Or is he just going to be like, so yes, there's Al-Albani's position, but there's another position, what? And he just tries to like muddy the waters and be like, oh, which one's true? And or does he actually give reasons? Because at the moment he doesn't give any reason at all.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
What makes it even funnier is the context of him saying Daniel got caught with his pants down, but if he had this, then it would be a totally different story.
Can you imagine Daniel trying to bring this up in a debate? If he'd have said, "Oh, here's a scholar," I'd have burned him up and said, "Al-Bani says it," and oh, look, Ibn Kathir, he agrees. That wouldn't have gone. That wouldn't have worked, Fareed. That would not have worked in a debate. Let me put it this way, Fareed. That would only work in a debate if it's just someone who read it and they quote it and they have no idea who Al-Albani is or what to say about it. That's the only time it would work, right? We're past those days, Fareed. People are on to your tricks. They're on to your tricks here.
By the way, we saw a number of Muslims who were actually, when Fareed did this recent video where he just reposted his comments here after Daniel said what he said, he replayed Daniel saying what he said. Didn't we find a number of Muslim comments
comments, and we screenshotted them underneath. They're saying, "What do you mean? This doesn't solve anything."
Exactly.
We can see what Daniel said. What he said. What are you doing? Because remember, notice this is an issue. Now you're saying because it's either this happened or it didn't. It's either Muhammad put it on the cushion and said what he said, or it didn't. You can't say, I can see why that person said it might have happened, and I can see why that person said it might not have happened.
That makes Muslims feel very uneasy.
What do you mean? We're not talking about who likes which dish. We're talking about, does this happen or not?
Muslims don't like that. They feel very uneasy about that.
So you can't have a process that tells you both yes and no, and you can respect both sides.
Yeah. They want to know, did he do it or not?
I don't know why they don't realize that.
Yeah, and by the way, when we were playing this, when I paused it, I was kind of smirking, and it was because when I was playing this, I actually had a flashback to when Yasser Qadi said, "When you do a deep dive, that's when you're like, what is all this stuff?"
Yeah.
Right? Now, there he's talking about them trying to figure out the Quran, them trying to figure out the standard narrative of the Quran and how to fix that. But what is all this stuff? And he's talking about when you're at the beginning level and stuff, you just accept all this stuff, and then then you see these, and you start seeing, hey, there's some problems here. So that at that point, you just regurgitate what your favorite scholars say, and then you do a deep dive, and then you're like, whoa, we got some serious problems here.
Fareed's at that regurgitate state. He's still in the kiddie pool. He hasn't done the deep dive yet.
Yeah, but I mean, applying this to Muslims in general.
No, there it was. My stomach's just upset a little bit.
Oh, we heard that Sheikh Yasser Qadi is saying that we've got problems, some serious problems with our methodology, and it can't stand up to academic scrutiny. But Fareed says, no, our method is as good as gold. It's as good as gold. We've got this airtight methodology.
He released another new song.
Video, and it's like, well, this scholar says this,
Hmm.
this scholar says that. So it happened and it didn't happen. Muhammad's entire life is basically this Schrodinger's cat situation, and we have no idea what's going on. It's like, oh, thank you, Fareed. Thank you for that. Wow. That's amazing.
And then to use that to call out a debater and then call it a refutation as David Wood all at once. It's like,
I was just on a
David
wild
Wood rejected by
ride
Schrodinger's
on the back of a motherfucking ball.
I was just thinking, like, imagine if Daniel actually raised that in the debate. Like, one scholar says it might have happened, another scholar says it might not have happened.
Yeah, and-
Therefore, you're free.
Who did?
And your opponent
Oh,
is a
yeah.
philosopher.
Yeah.
Okay, good luck with that.
She's active now, that's why. But was till she got sick.
Visited by Al-Albani, like
What?
Ghalatai's Ikmal, who quotes a bunch
Love
of
you.
them weakening him. So Ibn Sa'ad, Yahya ibn Sa'id, Al-Baqi, Al-Uqayli, Abu al-Arab al-Tamimi, Ibn Jarud, Al-Muntajili, Ibn al-Sakan, Al-Fasawi, Al-Dulabi, Al-Balkhi, Al-Khalili, and Abu Ahmad al-Hakim. Now, despite Abu Dawood al-Sijistani himself saying that Hisham bin Sa'ad is one of the strongest narrators from Zayd bin Aslam, it's still drowned in the sea of criticisms against Hisham bin Sa'ad.
And he still doesn't get what he's doing here. So it's still drowned in the sea of criticism and so on. Wait a minute. So this story makes it down. And Abu Dawud didn't catch that. He thought this is not weak. And some of your greatest commentators of all time, it made it through their filters and they passed on this information. And suddenly we get down to the 21st century and it was actually weak. So this managed to deceive many centuries of Islam's greatest scholars, and that's your problem, because it sounds like your methodology is massively deceptive and misleading if it can deceive the best of your scholars. Just wanted to point that out for Reed.
Sounds like a popularity contest, you know?
Yeah,
what was
right.
popular at the time. It's like this guy says this guy didn't like him, this guy didn't like him, this guy didn't like him, but this guy really liked him. So we're going with it. Oh, the Islamic dilemma. Yeah, get all those guys that we didn't like him. Yeah, all of a sudden we care more about them now and what
They're
they have to
what
say.
matters. Yeah, but I mean, seriously,
that'd be a funny clip, though. Fareed saying it's not a popularity contest, and then you go right to the part where you list like 20 different people, like saying, sounds like it. It sounds like that's what he's doing. But I mean, again, he's like, we mentioned like 9 different scholars, and he's basically saying like, again, none of these people saw this. Like Ibn Taymiyyah didn't see this. Ibn Kathir didn't see this. Sheikh bin Baz didn't see this. Ibn Hajar, he didn't see that. None of these scholars saw what he saw.
But only Farid saw it.
Only Farid saw it.
And a bunch of people that he's quoting.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. These people who are actual Islamic scholars, not just Farid responds. They didn't see what he said. They didn't see what he's seeing, but Farid sees it. Okay, makes sense.
And there's a further problem here, Farid. Think about this. If century after century after century of Muslim scholars and some of your greatest scholars, if they can all think that this story's not weak and treat it as reliable historical information, and then you just find out, we all just find out now that it's actually garbage that can't be trusted, what else are we going to find out that's garbage that can't be trusted in the future, right? So just to be clear, Farid, Ibn Kathir can treat this as historically reliable. Then you come along later, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm Farid. I will tell you what's historically reliable and what's not. You were wrong, Ibn Kathir. You were wrong, Ibn Taymiyyah. You were wrong, Abu Dawud, one of our greatest hadith scholars. You're wrong, Al-Albani. You're all wrong. Okay. So 5 years from now, information that Muslims and Muslim scholars think is reliable right now might be shown 5 years from now that it's actually just completely untrustworthy, right?
Wow.
Right?
That's
true?
problem.
That's true, according to you, right? Centuries of Muslims can think something is reliable, and then you come along and can say, no, it's actually not reliable. So what are you going to say 5 years from now is not reliable, Farid? Ouch. There goes. Is it Muhammad's existence that's going to be unreliable? Are you going to be working with Jay Smith and Robert Spencer?
Moreover, there's another criticism mentioned by Sheikh Shu'aib, which is that we also have the same report from Az-Zuhri, from Nafi', from Ibn Umar in the Sahihain. and they don't include this edition. I'd also like to add that we have the same report.
Wait, what's that?
I was just saying zoot zoot. Yeah, no.
I
yeah.
heard that as well and thought, wait, what's he saying?
That wasn't
Who's he
Fareed.
referring to?
Yeah, so Ibn Fibn, Sheikh Uthman tried this method as well, where what he does is he takes, remember to try to save Sneeko, about the Yemenis are the best people. He tried to do a comparative analysis to other hadith that have the same exact kind of content in there, but they don't have that specific phrase. And so this is exactly what Uthman tried to do, but it failed. Because all the scholars were like, no, you're actually wrong. That's an authentic hadith. This method is not one that Muslim scholars, the times that you think it would work, it doesn't work. And this is not one of those times. So this is something that, like, people like Fareed and Uthman ibn Fibn try to do to try to save Islam.
They play with the phrasing. They find a scholar that hasn't narrated that specific phrasing to try and cast doubt on it, when lots of other scholars have said no, it's good. All of it.
Yeah.
Even this
So they
isn't
all-
that
they-
friendly
they-
though. So if the Torah is totally corrupted, why is he having them bring it out? Like his whole point is supposed to be that it's not reliable because you can't count on that Hassan.
Yeah, so
one
even
from
if you
earlier.
toss out this sentence right here, he's still having them bring the Torah, and he supposedly knows what this is, and it's for purposes of judgment and so on. So
yeah,
It all goes back
But
to
that-
what Daughter of Christ was saying. Like, it's in the Quran. Like,
Yeah.
even if you refuted all of this, you can still make the same point just from the Quran, which is arguably like a better way of making the point. So it's kind of dumb that they're trying to refute it in this way. It conforms completely with the message of the Quran.
It's literally that one sentence that they're taking issue with. Even the sheikh that he's quoting, who says it's weak, it's literally this one sentence. So yeah, break down the sentence and let's see, what do Muslims have issue with? Are you supposed to believe in the Torah? You're supposed to believe in the Torah. Are you supposed to believe in He who revealed the Torah? You're supposed to believe in He who revealed the Torah. So what exactly, like, how is this, like Daniel said, how is this destroying the Islamic dilemma?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
yeah, from the perspective of the Quran, if you actually took the Quran seriously, which they obviously don't, if you read the Quran and what the Quran says over and over again about the reliability of the Torah, how would this be even mildly controversial? It wouldn't be controversial at all. It's exactly what Muhammad should say in a situation like this. I believe in you. Oh my goodness, he believes in the Torah. You mean as we're all commanded to do? This is weird. Yeah, so, I mean, it's amazing. They can hear something from a Dawa clown all their lives, and then you could show them the Dawa clown contradicts a lot. They'll go with the Dawa clown 100% of the time and don't care at all what Allah says. And then when you're like, hey, be careful, because even your prophet, he agrees with our interpretation of these dozens and dozens of verses, just to be clear, and they'll, no, let's look for a reason to dismiss that hadith so we can bring Islam once again in line with what our Dawa guy said and not with what Allah said. This is a weird, weird religion.
So David, if Daniel used this with this, David said that I'm sorry, not David. Fareed said this would prevent him from getting caught with his pants down.
Would it?
So would that have worked?
Would his dress have still been up?
No, yeah. I wouldn't have had. You guys obviously are familiar with more of the commentators and so on, and more of the hadith scholars and stuff. I would have said Albani, said he's the GOAT. He didn't think it was weak. I would have said Abu Dawood. He used it. He didn't comment on it. And I would have said, you've got this in, Ibn Kathir quotes this as historically reliable. So I would have pointed out that he's picking and choosing. And then I would have pointed out it's exactly what they do with the Quran. It's exactly what they do with the hadith. And so don't think this would have been the case cracker that Fareed thinks it would have been.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's like, imagine that there's like a house burning down and Daniel Hakeem tries to put it out with a bucket of water. And then Freed's like, you're doing it wrong. And he goes and he like puts a spoon of water on the doghouse that's also on fire. And it doesn't even do anything.
Right. I was thinking Fareed's like, hey, you're trying to put out this fire with that bucket of water. Let me show you this bucket of gasoline here.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be like, you're trying to put out the fire, but This other scholar says there is no fire, so I can see why he might be right, and I can see why he might be right. But this guy Gary down the road, he said that he wasn't a reliable narrator.
That is a better example.
Isn't there something called like blue fire or something? It's like not visible to the eye. And Fareed's like, hey, if you put on these glasses, you can see the blue fire. You can't see the fire.
If we just wear blindfolds, we can pretend there is no.
It's clear, doesn't it? Like it won't show flames. Whatever they use in NASCAR. I think if that catches fire, you can't see it under normal daylight.
No fire.
Oh boy. From Abdullah bin Dinar, narrating this from Ibn Umar. He also doesn't mention this part about the Prophet, peace be upon him, placing the Torah on a cushion and saying, I believe in you. So yes, in this specific case, I'm going to have to side with Sheikh Shu'aib. He definitely has the evidence on his side due to, one, the lack of corroboration for Hisham bin Sa'ad, and two, the overwhelming claims of Hisham bin Sa'ad being a weak narrator. And this supports the classical Muslim position. The scholars have...
That your methodology is
What?
garbage?
No, it doesn't.
What?
The
How does this
classical...
put the classical Muslim position
What,
when
Ibn Taymiyyah is not classical enough for you?
all
No.
the Muslim
Albani is not classical enough?
Listen,
What?
all these heretics like Ibn Kathir and
Like
Ibn
Abu Dawud.
Taymiyyah, who are completely ignorant of this valuable material that I now have access to, and look, Abu Dawud is a moron. These guys don't know anything compared to me. I am the GOAT. Wow. Albani, who is he?
Wow.
Just put on these blindfolds.
Classical.
Every new Dawa response is going to be throwing 14 centuries of Muslim scholars under the bus.
It's just funny because the one scholar that he quotes to say this is weak is not a classical scholar. Like
no,
Dr.
he's not Shaib. No, he's not.
He literally he just
It's
died.
some guy. No, he died 2016. I got the
he
date
just
wrong.
died. Yeah, he just died 2016. This is a classical Muslim scholar.
And everybody else isn't.
The greatest of classical Muslim scholars, my friend from down the road, he said this.
Like half Muslims, most Muslims wouldn't have even heard of Arnaud, but they would have heard of all the others.
Yeah.
You can't just dig someone up from the dust of whatever's at the bottom of your bookshelf, and then say he's classical, and then the others aren't. That it doesn't.
Muslims, you Muslims who are watching, very seriously here, we want you to understand the methodology that they are using. You can have Allah over and over again in the Quran saying something that is completely, it's like obvious what he means. These are the clearest verses in the Quran, and they can all be saying one thing. But then what will the Muslim Dawagandist who doesn't want to believe that do? He'll go to an ambiguous verse that you can look at 20 different commentaries and get 20 different responses to what it actually means. He'll insert the meaning that he wants into the ambiguous verse, and then he'll use that to dismiss all of the clear verses, right? That is the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do to interpret a text accurately. Then they'll do the same thing with the hadith. They don't like what a hadith says. They'll just start doing they'll look for someone. They'll look for someone who had doubt about something, and they'll say, oh, so you can't use that, it's weak. Not realizing, hey, Fareed, if we want, we can find a scholar like, I don't know, Sheikh Yasser Qadi, who tells us the entire system is weak from an academic perspective. So we can throw out literally anything from your sources right now by saying it can't stand up to academic scrutiny. You don't want us doing that, right? You want us taking your methodology very seriously. Okay, well, why are you going with a guy who goes against what everyone else says about something? If your system's actually good, if your system is actually good, why did this information deceive some of your greatest scholars over the centuries?
Allah only made it appear to be authentic
for all those centuries,
and it wasn't really authentic
until Fareed came along.
Yeah, and then Fareed came along and he fixed it all. You know what's amazing is for what Fareed's doing right now, it's something that I used to notice from Shabir Ali. Shabir would be like, I figured out how to reconcile all this. I figured out that Jesus was put on the cross and here's what happened and so on. And I'd just be sitting there thinking, you really think 14 centuries of Muslims all got this wrong and that you showed up and then you're the one who finally understands it? Like,
That's what you believe, but it's the same thing Fareed's doing now. Yeah, 14 centuries the Muslims didn't get it, but I get it. I'm the golden one. This is I don't know. I don't know what to do here. This is crazy stuff. All right, just a few more seconds of this video left. Let's see if he's hopefully the final seconds are better than the first several minutes for you.
Always had this general view of skepticism against the Old Testament and New Testament. And actually, I'd like to challenge the Christian polemicists to provide an example of a classical Muslim scholar that held the view that the Torah is fully preserved. Oh, and I'm kind of...
Well,
that's what we responded to.
Yeah, Giant DOC responded to that. I just want to point out.
No.
Reed, I'm talking about Allah. All right, good.
Yeah, no. This was a stream that you and Chris and us, we all responded to it together. And then the next video that he has is actually a response to that video. So yeah, that's
right.
But he said, notice
okay.
he said classical. He
Yep.
said classical scholars, but he just nullified all the classical scholars by not.
Yeah, why would Fareed? Why would we go to classical scholars when, according to you, they're a bunch of idiots who were easily deceived and duped by false information that some idiot made up?
I just
What?
I dodged a bullet. Literally.
Are these guys reliable?
Oh nope.
Like when there's something wrong with a story, do they pick up on it? No, they need you for that, right? And so your classical scholars are garbage, and their methodology just didn't work. Hang on, let's play a couple more seconds here, and then it'll be
to
done.
let you know that I'm familiar with the types of statements that you're going to bring to argue that classical Muslim scholars believed in the preservation of the Old Testament and New Testament. But yeah, go for it. Let's see what happens. In any case, I'll catch you guys in the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, Fareed, let me give you an example of what this is like, man. So this was a while back. Donald Trump, but you could use any example of any president or any leader and so on. This is just the kind of the most recent. But Donald Trump this when he was running for president. He's speaking somewhere, and a guy takes a shot at him and hits him in the ear as he's turning his head, right? Okay, that should tell you something. That should tell you that the security around him was not very good if there's actually a guy with a gun on top of a building over there taking a shot at him, right? That tells you there was a failure of security. And so guess what? Then they get that. Suppose they get that guy. Does that mean everything's fine? No. Why not? Because it means your entire security system was flawed. Your entire system was flawed. You let someone get close enough to take a shot at Trump's head, right? Okay. So it's the same thing with any assassination attempt. You had actual assassinations of presidents and so on. Nowadays you have the Secret Service, and they're supposed to be protecting the president or protecting other people and so on. Well, guess what? Suppose there's this big rally, and security has its system in place, and there's a metal detector, and they're using the wand, and they're screening every single person who gets into this rally. So they're screening this person, they're screening the next person, they're having people take everything out of their pockets, checking all their stuff and so on, and then you get a big rally full of people. Suppose someone at this rally all of a sudden pulls out an AK-47. The response should not just be, oh, we need to get rid of this person with the AK-47 and then we're fine. You're not fine. Because for all you know, if someone got through with an AK-47, your entire system is flawed. Everyone might have an AK-47 in there. Your entire system is defective. Your system for screening people is defective. All right. Now use that same example as people like Ibn Kathir and Ibn Taymiyyah, Abu Dawud, and so on. They're trying to get to accurate information. If they keep letting in all these false stories, what's that mean? It means their system is defective. Their system for determining what's true and what's false, the entire system is defective. Okay, how do you know what they believe is right and what they believe is wrong? How do you know? Oh, we know how you know, Fareed. You decide what you want to believe ahead of time, and then you go and you reinterpret Allah to be saying that, and you reinterpret Muhammad to say that, and then you pick and choose scholars who are going to affirm what you believe. And we don't control you, so if that's your method, that's your method. But to then turn to us and say, you see, I've got the answer, like everything we're seeing from you is like, do you not realize how insane you sound? Do you not realize how screwed up this system is? But anyway. All right. Anyone's mind blown by what Fareed just said?
No, I'm curious what Daniel would have to say about that, though. Maybe his mind got blown. He's like, I should have used that argument.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah, should we take back the Islamic dilemma now?
I think so.
Yeah, apparently we're supposed.
Yeah.
Apparently we're supposed to
This will be the
renounce
end,
the
though.
Islamic dilemma.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It prevents Muslims from getting caught with their pants down if they learn that argument.
Hey, someone deleted someone's comment earlier, and I was like, hey, what'd they delete? And here it is. A Psychopathics Roadshow. Is your father all right, David? Or is he still processing the fact that you tried to kill him many years ago? No, he figured that out. Because I told him. He didn't actually remember. But yeah, I told him. Is he all right? No, he died. He died of a heart attack right around 50. So, hope that clears things up. Any other questions? Wait, did he get banned or is he still around? If he has any follow-ups. Hey, a Psychopathics Roadshow. You know, if you're confused about the history of everything, I've got a video. It's called How God Destroyed My Atheism. Go ahead and check that out. And if you want to go around pointing out things I've done in my past, that's filled with it. That's a bunch of stuff in there. So go ahead and share that with all your Muslim friends and say, look at this thing that this David Wood did. Go ahead and share that video. Check it out. All right. Just wanted to check that out because poor guy's comment got blocked. Let's take a couple super chats and then we will check out. So we've got two videos from Fareed. You guys are saying we should check out Daniel's response?
I think so.
Yeah, I want to see what his mind was blown.
So the Daniel's response video is specifically to that, not to the other one?
I think
for the most part, yeah. I mean, I could summarize the other one because I think it was like 16 minutes. I could summarize because I remember that one, and his argument was really bad. But if you want to watch it, we can. But
yeah, we'll check out Daniel's. We'll check out Daniel's response first, and then we'll see how long we can go through Fareed's other video because that's a longer one. But we'll watch it as long as it's entertaining or he's making any point we're interested in. Let's see. Austin said, please let the stream last at least 4 hours. It will not. That's how long I have left on my road trip, and congratulations on whipping Daniel on the debate. Poor Daniel. Hey, I have to say, though, this has been pointed out. Credit where it's due. At least he's willing to debate it, unlike some of these other guys. Right?
True.
That is a serious point. All you guys who are running your mouth, Daniel, you should have answered it like this. You guys all have an open invitation to debate us on this. And we can do that in various ways. You can join us live and we can have a friendly discussion. We can debate it at a place like DebateCon. We can set up an online debate. We can do 2-on-2, 3-on-3, however you guys want to do it. Not like 40-on-1 like Muhammad and Al-Zoot, but just if you guys think there are better responses, we're sitting here going, give us the better responses. And you won't do it. So don't condemn Daniel because he's the only one who actually has the testicular fortitude to stand up and take on the kuffar. You should be praising him. Mosh says, no, this is too early. I'm still working. In the name of Al-Zoot, I demand you at least wait until 1 a.m. to start the live. Always fun to see. Yeah, our British friends. That is funny. In the name of Al-Zoot. We need to start saying that. In the name of Al-Zoot, I command you. Seeing Daniel quote Muqatil made me cringe after the Giant DOC streams on the word Muhammad. Couldn't a Muslim bite the bullet and say Mujahid was a kafir?
Yeah, I noticed he quoted Muqatil as well. And I think it was on the stream we did with IP.
RP.
Yeah, with IP because
Muqatil is apparently a kafir and a heretic.
He believed that Allah had a body of flesh and blood. And so anyway, Muslims like to cite him because like to non-Muslims, it might sound a little impressive to say like, this is the first commentary of the Quran. And so to like a non-Muslim, that might be like, oh, okay, that's okay. That's must have some sort of authority in Islam, but it does. There's no authority at all. The scholars in Islam say the only time he's right is when he's agreeing with other people, and if he says something on his own, he's a liar. He's a liar. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, Muqatil is one of the sources on the Satanic Verses. You have a bunch of people a bunch of people early on and talking about the satanic verses, and he's one of them. But yeah, if I
No, it's
quote,
okay. That's okay because he cooperates
quotes
with
other
other.
people.
As long as he cooperates with
yeah, I
other
know.
people,
I'm
it's
just
fine,
saying,
yeah.
if I were to tell one of these now, if I tell an average Muslim, they're going to have no idea what I'm talking about because they don't know who any of these guys are. But if I were to quote Muqatil to a knowledgeable Muslim and say, look, he said that Muhammad delivered the satanic verses, they would point out all this weird stuff about Muqatil and say you can't trust him. But yet, if he's ever convenient for them, he's as good as gold.
Yeah.
Pick and choose, pick and choose. Everybody loves to pick and choose. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Saw
Nice.
AP at Canary Wharf. Love to see it. I don't know what that is. What's that, Chris? You know what Canary Wharf is?
Yeah, it's a place in London, Canary Wharf. Yeah,
Oh.
very notorious place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Based. Hey, D Wood, I was glad to see yet another victory for the Islamic Dilemma. Keep up the Lord's good work. God bless you all. I have to say, so
Not falling
Sam
asleep,
debated
are you, Will?
Khalil on this.
Said you're not falling asleep, are you, Will?
I just debated Daniel on this. Did not go well for Islam. Someone's going to have to step up because if everyone just runs from it from now on,
No, but my eyes are getting heavy.
guys.
I'll try to
The
stay up a
next
little
one-
bit longer.
The next one is Avery versus Jake at
Spaghetti.
Orland. His and the conference, the Gospel Truth.
Mhm.
He's hosting it in February next year. Avery versus Jake on the Islamic Dilemma.
Jake, that's a bad
Wait, is
time.
that something that's been agreed to?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
you go to the Gospel Truth. He announced it. He officially announced it yesterday.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
Jake,
yeah,
that's a bad idea, Jake, because for everyone who knows, we have a lot of work still left to do on the Islamic Dilemma. But by the time all of this is done, it's going to be nice website. Every Quran verse that has anything to say about the previous scriptures, it's going to have all the main commentaries there. For any of these issues, it's going to have responses to every single lie you guys tell. We're about to put that into the hands of Christians and non-Christians, Muslims even, around the world. It's going to take away your ability to lie. So any Muslims who want to respond to the Islamic, you better be doing it real quick, because a year from now, it's not even going to be a possibility to respond to this. So better jump on it real quick and then thump your chest for the rest of your life and never pay any attention to anything that happens after that. So you guys should be jumping on this right now. It's your last chance. February, too late, Jake. Too late.
But you know what?
Start
thing that
planning.
Jake-
Start planning an exit strategy of what excuse you're going to make to not debate that. Oh, I got stuck in the airport. Something. All right.
We're gonna go
What do you say?
Yeah, one thing that Jake might have in his
Boom,
favor that
boom.
Daniel didn't have is he's going to be able to prep with Fareed. So. So there you go. So we know
Bro,
Jake's not
right?
gonna get caught with his pants down, right?
Nope. Jake's going to be thoroughly prepared.
A bag full of
You should show up
Hey.
with a copy as soon as Abu Dawud and just burn it. For the debate.
Snickers are better.
And then
Is
put
it
on
funny?
sunglasses.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat
Daniel.
piercings. I want the
Sorry,
Snickers.
just after Daniel did the Islamic Dilemma, like Jake is such a copycat rival that he's like, I'm doing it too, and wants to one up manship. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah. That might be what's going on there too. Yeah.
Hey, Jake, since you're preparing with Fareed, I'll go ahead and make you a deal. After your debate with Avery, I'll debate you and Fareed at the same time on the same stage.
Whoa.
Well, I want to see that. Say yes,
Come on.
please.
Because by that time it is too late. You could right now still catch me off guard on some stuff. You could. Next year, there's going to be no catching anyone off guard. It's all going to be right there in everyone's hands. So I will. Matter of fact, hey, we should do an experiment, guys. We'll do an experiment. We'll get a Muslim debater who agrees. We will then schedule a debate a week ahead of time. We'll let the Muslim pick our debater. We'll let the Muslim pick the Christian debater. And then we'll spend a week training a Christian to go through these, to navigate all this material. And he can just be responding based on the material right in front of his face.
That'd be
Pick me.
No.
Take my
You'd annihilate these guys right now.
Mike Winger.
Mike Winger. Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta get him.
yeah. We'll take the most
That'd be
ignorant
great.
of the most ignorant. Mike
Oh,
Winger. This
man.
guy has absolutely no clue what he's talking about on any of this stuff, and we'll just take the worst of the worst and say, okay, you go up against him. And I'm so confident that even Mike Winger would be able to answer you guys once he has the material in his hands.
It's really funny seeing IP. He'll have like these Old Testament scholars, New Testament scholars. He'll have like William Lane Craig. He'll have some philosophers. He'll have Egyptologists, and then all people send super chats about like Azut, and and he has to explain it to them, and it's hilarious to see their reactions. So it kind of reminds me of that. It's like, yeah, we'll just get someone who's they're not in the field at all.
It's like explaining to your grandmother what Azut is.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want that.
So yeah, it's like someone who has no experience in the field at all, and I would just just a week training them up.
In fact, I wanted James from Modern Day Debates to host both Daniel and Jake to debate the Tawheed.
Like each other, debate each other.
Debate each other. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that's what we also need. We also need, we need Fareed and Daniel debating who has the worst response to the Islamic dilemma. And they can go, you have the worst response. No, you have the worst response. No, your response is garbage. No, yours is garbage. That is the debate we all want. Is there a way to obtain a Quran in revealed order? Would help show abrogation and evolution of doctrine. You can easily. I would assume there's something like that, but you can just look up a website on the chronological order of surahs. If there's not, someone should make a Quran called the Chronological Quran. Now, there's some disputes about when certain things are revealed and which came later and stuff like that, but they have a general idea of a lot of it. So you could just go with some. This could just be said, this is going according to so-and-so's list of the chronological order of revelations and so on. But yeah, if there's not that, if that's not available, then someone should make that. What do you call a cow with 3 legs? Lean beef. Powerful. I see another emergency LS from the Christian. What's that? What's LS?
Oh, so Daniel's been, I don't know what LS is.
Oh,
but
live stream?
Daniel's been
Live stream.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what.
Daniel's
Sorry.
been accusing us of
panicking.
So no, he can't really make up his mind on this. On his tweets, he's saying that Christians are doing panic emergency streams, and
Weren't they all like victory live streams? Like ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that's when he I think that's when he started to watch them, and he realized that he was wrong. So so yesterday he was live with Paul Williams. So after his so Daniel did a stream on his own channel, and then he did a stream with Paul Williams, and they were both talking about the Islamic dilemma. So I guess according to his logic, he's doing panic streams, emergency streams. But one of the things that he said with gay Paul Williams was that Christians are going around doing simulcast streams to the live debate, which he said multiple channels. I think only Chris was the only channel doing that. But anyway, he was saying that Christians were just like patting each other on the back, saying, "Yeah, you know."
Yeah. I think he watched us. You know why? Because I made fun of him. I said he was so unpopular that he couldn't find one Muslim to do a review with while we were all dancing and doing reviews together. He couldn't find one Muslim to do a review with.
He found one.
He found one. The one that no one would talk to because he's got a different lifestyle.
Yeah,
than
Paul Williams
Islamic.
is very not popular among a lot of days. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I think that's what
Paul,
that's the reference.
I'm just going to say it. You know, I'm not. From a psychological perspective, Paul Williams is a guy who hates himself so much that he wants to help Islam subjugate his entire country. That's a guy who hates himself so much that I'm just wired to go out and help my entire country be subjugated by these guys. And I'm not saying he's intentionally doing that. I'm saying that's how messed up he is. But hey, Paul Williams, you're a smart guy. One of the most inconsistent people I've ever seen in my entire life, as far as let's go to the Bible and apply the highest levels of critical scholarship from atheists to that, and then the Quran will just mindlessly accept any idiotic story about its background and so on. But Paul Williams,
How many times has he left Islam? How many times has he left Islam? Like 7 times?
Yeah, like 1 billion.
A lot.
Hey, Paul, if you think you can respond to the Islamic dilemma, open invitation. There's still time for DebateCon. There's still time for DebateCon in November. You could do it. In fact, if you want someone to hold your hand, you can join Daniel. You two can debate together, and then You'll have both your powerful intellects combined against the Islamic dilemma.
You can keep his pants up and help him that way. So at least you'll be useful in some
What's wrong with
sense.
you? You guys are
That's
meaner
too
than I am.
tempting. That's too tempting. Too tempting to comment on that one. That's a.
Yeah, I'm holding myself back really hard.
Yeah. But
Um,
it's funny that they think of this stuff as emergency live streams and stuff. What are we doing? It's like, hey, we've seen Daniel's response to the Islamic dilemma. It didn't do well, and even Muslims are calling him out. Fareed says he has better responses. So what are we doing? We're playing the responses for people.
Exactly.
We're not trying to hide this. We're if you guys have a good response, we're happy to share that. Your responses suck. How are you regarding? I don't even know what to do at this point, man. These guys are weird.
Yeah, I was. I was
Something
just,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You know, before this stream, I was watching Anthony review the Paul Williams discussion with Daniel on the Islamic dilemma, and one of the points that he made I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, it's a really good point. So one of the things that he said was that he said that Paul Williams was really surprised at one of your answers to Daniel's questions when he asked you, "Are you saying that the Quran affirms like every word, every part, every word in the Bible, every sentence?" And you said yes. And Paul Williams was all shocked. He was like, I've never heard that before. And it's like, how long has this guy been doing this for? Like 20 years. And this argument's been around since this guy became a Muslim, and he's been engaged in polemics and dawah-gandist activities apart from his other life that he lives. He's been doing this like for his whole time he's been a Muslim, and he's like, I've never heard anyone say that before. It's like, where have you been?
Yeah,
you've never heard a Christian say that?
Yeah. So Paul, let me just clarify here. When your God says, say, "O people of the book, you have no ground to stand upon unless you stand fast by the Torah, the gospel, and all the revelation that has come to you from your Lord." Right? And then you look at that in the light of Surah 2, verse 85. Do you then believe in part of the book and reject the other? And Allah says he'll send people to hell for only believing in part of their book and not all of it.